Pico here with Nick, the combat designer for Elder Scrolls Online, and you showing us the game for the first time. Can you talk a little bit about the background of the story?
Sure. It takes place about 1,000 years before the events of Skyrim. Really, it's in the Second Era, for those of you who are familiar with the lore, but it's a prequel to the game in that basically Skyrim is sort of at the end of this period of a long dynasty of stability of the Septums. And in our time, it's sort of before that, and what's occurring is the world is in conflict, right? Sorry, I'm not super story oriented.
Okay.
All right, I'll continue the best I can. So the world is in conflict, and basically there's these three factions: the Aldmeri Dominion, the Daggerfall Covenant, and the Ebonheart Pact, that are sort of vying to try and put their emperor on the throne, right? To be the septum that will sort of arise from this period. And so you're basically in a period of war that is sort of famous, the Age of Heroes, in the lore of the game, and sort of it's in the distant past.
What are the three factions?
What's their philosophies?
Sure.
Okay. So the Aldmeri Dominion is basically they're sort of divided by races. So it's the Altmer, the High Elves, the Bosmer, the sort of Wood Elves, and then the Khajiit. They're sort of hell-bent on domination, as their name would suggest. They're trying to take over the world because they feel like they can do it better than everyone. The Daggerfall Covenant is sort of a democratic alliance of the Redguard, the Bretons, and the Orcs. Generally, they're sort of a mercantile empire. They're economic. They have sort of a royalty, sort of bloodline feel that they feel like they have sort of the best overall philosophy of government. And then the Ebonheart Pact is this sort of alliance of traditional enemies: the Dunmer, the Nords, and the Argonians. They all hate each other, but they don't want the world to get taken over. So they're sort of allied for this period of time so that they can sort of, do battle.
Now, I heard mention of a mage. What are some of the other classes?
We're not talking specifically about the classes just yet,
Okay.
But I can tell you about the general philosophy of them, which is that every single class has a large variety of things it can do, right? There isn't that sort of like, all I do is shoot fireballs. There isn't that. Any class can pick up any weapon, right? Whatever it is in the game, begin using it, get better with it. So if I want to be a mage, that is a guy in cloth armor uses spells, pick up a bow and start shooting people and then mix in spells, I can do that. I can play the game the way I want to, because that's really the Elder Scrolls sort of game, and that's what we sort of created in the MMO.
Now, one thing about the Elder Scrolls series that people are all about is the graphics. Now,
Sure.
How did you carry that over to an MMO?
Well, I'm not the expert in the art style, but what I can tell you about it is it looks amazing. It is mind-boggling how, when you zoom through the area of Skyrim or the area of Cyrodiil that is sort of in those two games, how much it is identical. Like literally the height map, right? It is the same area. The houses look the same. The monsters look the same. We imported some of the assets from Skyrim, sort of literally, so they're the same things you see in the game. But we've really done that within our engine sort of confines, and what our engine allows us to do is have 200 people fighting each other on screen. And so you can have sort of the environments and the world that you're familiar with from the single-player game, but with huge numbers of players and monsters in epic battles, which is sort of our entry to the Elder Scrolls world that we think is so awesome.
MMOs have been doing a lot in the past year as far as just trying different things like voice acting or portals and stuff like that. Now, what have you guys added to the MMO market in this game?
Quite a few things. I can tell you in my specific area, in the gameplay area, what we feel like we've done is we've taken the combat, which I think in the older generation of MMOs is sort of rotation, based on timers, based on cooldowns, based on hitting the ability when it comes up. And it's fine, that made sense for that sort of hardware limitations of the time, but really latency and computers have gotten to the place now where we can do better than that. We can have action responsive combat with controls, with tactics, right? I can shoot a fireball at you, and you could hold up your shield and block it, and the system is going to support that, right? And so that's really what we've brought, is this really sort of tactical feel with responsive actions that you can take in combat, which we're really excited about.
Why did you guys decide to go with a minimal interface?
Lots of reasons. I mean, I think the straightforward one is we really love the way our world looks. Like, it is an amazing style, and why would you want to not look at that? Why would you want to look at some interface? I think Elder Scrolls games traditionally have a very minimalist UI, so we felt like that was an important thing to sort of hearken to. But I think more importantly, we just love the way our game looks, and we want you to look at it when you're playing it, and not some bar or something like that, right?
Now, this is kind of a tough question, but are you ready?
Warning.
Right.
Okay, all right.
It was said when Skyrim was being released, everybody said, we want an MMO. This would make a great MMO. And you guys were saying, everybody loves the Elder Scrolls series because of the solitude that it brings you. So why the jump to an MMO?
That is a tough question. Thank you. Well, I can tell you this. What we're trying to do is make a game that is really fun to play by yourself or with other people, right? It isn't an MMO first or a Skyrim clone or anything along those lines. What we're doing is trying to make a really great game that's just fun to play, right? And it has all these elements from MMOs, from the Skyrim experience, that sort of tie it into that world and that lore, but really, it's just going to be fun. And if you like games that are fun, which I hope you are, right, that's our target, right? We aren't really shooting for, let's try and capture this audience or that audience. We're shooting for, let's make a game that people want to go through and play. And if you want to play it by yourself, you can do that. And if you want to play it with one friend, you can do that. And if you want to play it with 50 friends, you can do that too. We don't tell you how to play, which I think is actually an extension of what Elder Scrolls is all about. Like, you play the way you want to. We've just added the ability to play with other people if you do.
So I saw the screen, it said sometime in 2013. Mm-hmm. How do people find out more information?
Well, I know our website, Elder Scrolls Online, is up, and everyone's welcome to go to that. And I think there's interviews that people should look into. But I think for the basis, go to the website, Elder Scrolls Online, or check out the forums, and get involved, because pretty soon we'll be that's the place to look for beta invites.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.